Welcome back to Eye on South Asia. So Sunil, what is our next story that we have?
It's about the Homeland Security and the Preparedness Conference that just took place in New Jersey. It was organized by Indo-American Cultural Society in cooperation with the State Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness, OHSP as it is known as. And the whole idea here was, which was a conference, a meeting, which is securing our communities. US has become very conscious about security and preparedness.
Right, an
We may be
emergency
secure,
response.
but we still need to be prepared. Yeah, exactly. So post 9/11, it has been one of the top agendas for everybody, and they organized a conference where the state officials and the South Asian groups came together to administer, coordinate, and lead and supervise New Jersey's counter-terrorism preparedness effort. And officials also sought to educate and inform participants about the emergency response efforts and across all levels of government, with the law enforcement, emergency management, other jurisdictions, everything. It was a very detailed, long conference, and I think it's very good that the South Asian community took this initiative and brought in this official body to explain, so that it can percolate further down through the organization to, probably every member in the community, all
Right.
over 3.5, 4 million people here.
And it's a message that's tailored specifically to the South Asian community, correct?
True, but the agenda was still the preparedness.
Yes,
And
on a
how to
national
secure
level.
our community. And if every community secures themselves properly and is ready and they work together, I think we are all in a good shape.
Definitely, yeah. And they, just as an overall topics that they were covering is like homeland security, terrorism, and they were also delving into some of the mistreatment of South Asians in the community as well, just continuing that dialogue and that sort of fight for justice and civil rights.
True, that was part of the agenda over there. And I think such forums should continue all over the country, and especially our community should take a lead in it, and it will help us.
Yes, definitely.
While in Louisiana we have our own governor, Bobby Jindal, we have Ram Chandran, a consulting engineer, and he lost his bid for the Congress. He was contesting the elections, and he lost to the attorney Gregory Miller, who was a Republican candidate.
Right.
So the state has obviously a Republican government, and here is a Democrat who happens to be Indian, Mr. G. Ramachandran. He lost it, and I think it was quite a significant difference in the votes, because the winner got 62% and he had 38%.
Right, it was a landslide almost.
But Bhavna, I think it's a very good development. You have the governor from the Indian community, and then you have another person contesting. 38% is still a sizable number. Even if a small state of Louisiana, which is certainly appreciating the talent of Indians, and I think 38% is a large number, a huge number.
I mean, he was his primary opponent, so that itself tells
And
you
he
something.
had, as they claim, he had a far stronger financial backing.
Right.
He
About
raised
6 times as much that he raised. That's a lot.
That's a lot of, I mean, in terms of difference, in terms of capability to spend, to promote his campaign itself was a sizable difference.
Exactly.
So the opportunity for Ramachandran, he happens to be coming from your home state of Chennai actually, and was not a lot, who has been a chairman on the National Association of County Officials, Environment, Energy and Land Use Steering Committee. But I think I see a very positive in it, an Indian who tried to bid for it and did very well.
He definitely broke the stage and, opened the doors for other people,
Or for
Indian
himself,
Americans,
who knows
to
what's happening next.
enter. Yeah, exactly.
We have this story about Ravi. We have been following this kid from Rutgers, who has run into trouble, and he's facing about 15 criminal counts. That piracy case of internet invading his roommates and making it public. Tyler Clementi, who was 18 years old, and he committed suicide. And Ravi is attributed for that as a cause. He's the one who is responsible for that kid being pushed into the direction of committing suicide.
Right.
He has refused the plea bargain. And this could have helped him being saved from deportation or even cutting down on his term.
Right, because he's an international student, correct? He's from India.
He's from India, but he has refused to take that, and I think he must have some card up his sleeve which we don't know, as his lawyers will kind of unfold as the time goes. But he has said no, and we are following this story for quite some time.
Yeah.
And this is the latest update.
Okay.
Yaron Farid Zakaria, the man from CNN's flagship foreign affairs show GPS and editor-at-large for the Time magazine. And he's a great writer. His book, which was a bestseller in New York Times, The Post-American World and its latest version 2.0, is being acknowledged, being accorded, respected the 2012 Justice in Action Award at its annual Lunar New Year Gala on February 8, Pier 60 in Chelsea Piers. This is being given to him by the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund. Very good for him. He continues to be shining. He's, do you remember he was listed amongst one of the top, I think, 10 most powerful people in the Washington DC at one point,
right?
Or even today, most possibly.
Very influential figure. Yeah.
Very intellectual, very influential person, and I think one of these days I expect him to come to the show and we can talk to him.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Right parallel on his heels, we have our own Preeta Bansal. Preeta Bansal was the former general counsel and senior policy advisor in the Federal Office of Management and Budget. She has been reappointed. She had resigned. There was a mass exodus of, suddenly, I don't know what the inside story was, quite a few of the Obama appointees in the White House resigned. And now she was one of them. She has been reappointed to key advisory body on government operations. And Obama clearly acknowledged that I am proud to appoint such impressive individuals to these important roles, and I am grateful that they have agreed to lend their considerable talents to this administration. And he looks forward to working with them in the months and the years ahead. So, Preeta, I've known her personally. She has been featured in one of the shows that we produced with her. She's a New Yorker, of course, and she goes back to the administration. She was also earlier the Vice Chair of Advisory Council of the Administrative Conference and United States, but here she goes back as a Henry Crown Fellow at the Aspen Institute and member of the Council of Foreign Relations. So
one thing to note is that this administration really just holds the record in terms of appointing South Asians and Indian Americans into the administration in the top leadership positions. So this is yet another case of that.
Absolutely, and this is a very good appointment because Preeta will certainly make a difference as President Obama looks for a second term. He's kind of preparing for it now.
Definitely, yeah.
Subramaniam Swamy, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, who is from Harvard, and he has been, his courses, now he was, I think, his consulting contract at Harvard was cancelled, and now his courses have been removed from Harvard.
Right.
And Dr. Swamy is anti-establishment, and he took on the president of the current ruling Congress party, which is Ms. Sonia Gandhi. And they feel, the Harvard committee feel that he was trying to incite people against one particular community, in this case Muslim community. And he had made some inflammatory remarks and written some article which is not acceptable.
Anti-Muslim considered, yeah.
Now, Dr. Swamy does not say he wrote it, did not write it, he agrees or disagrees. The only thing he said was that typically Harvard offers an opportunity for somebody to answer or rebut or explain what went on, and he feels that he was not given that opportunity, and before anything else he was gone.
So he really had no statement to make about it?
Nope, they just took him out, made the announcement, and he was done.
Yeah.
Moving on, Bhavna, a very big achievement from our fellow friend from our neighboring country, Pakistan. Shahid Shad Khan buys an NFL team which is from Jacksonville called Jaguars. Do you watch football?
Not much.
Because I'm not a big follower, but once in a while I'll sit for the big game in the end of January as a part of solidarity. He paid $760 million to purchase the Jacksonville Jaguars. And a lot of this money, huge amount of that money, $350 million, is debt financing that he has done.
Right.
And the word is that he is actually physically moving to Jacksonville, Florida. And I mean, they really attribute this as a great American success story. And he's going to actually buy a home in Jacksonville, and he's going to spend time there. He's going to keep Jaguars management group intact, and we wish him a lot of luck. It's a great success story.
Absolutely.
Very encouraging.
And it's, you know, completely integrated with the American, you know, classic football and getting our South Asian community into there.
Right, and he's Illinois based out of Chicago. Very nice man. Like I said, we wish him luck. And more cases like this. We have heard something like this. I think now Bhatia has a basketball team in Canada. But this is the first time I've heard somebody taking
in the US
a football team.
Exactly.
University of Chicago and Tata Institute now have done some kind of a partnering arrangement where there will be exchange of students for cultural knowledge of each other. And the Social Services Administration, what is called SSA, with Tata Institute of Social Sciences, which is TISS, have struck this partnership, whereby TISS, this interface with SSA at the University of Chicago connects them to the university that has a long history. You know, this university is known for its great social work education, and the city with a history of community development and organization. And they believe that with this exchange of students between the two communities to the universities in the different part of the world, I think one side the Tata and another side the University of Chicago, there's going to be great gain about it.
Right.
Great initiative.
And they're actually sending students over there for about a month to...
True. Yeah, they talk about I think 8 or 7 or 8 students going up there.
Right, and be versed on like policy issues and really just actionable elements and how to develop like urban, issues and that sort of thing.
True. Very good, I would say, action by the Southern District Court of New York, which has awarded $1 million to Shivagees Thungchan, and he was fired. And from the obviously the which is housing authority from Peekskill in upstate New York, and he had sued the city authority in about 2007, and he has been awarded I think
$1 million.
They have been awarded. He's been immediately awarded $1 million, and for this kind of discrimination, he felt that he was unnecessarily fired, and jury sided with him, but. The problem is the city authority says they don't have the money. So even though they want to appeal and they say they don't have the money, but at least on paper he proved his innocence. That's what I like about it. The story is that...
And he actually won the case.
He won the case, which is putting the right the people and the perspective in the right place.
Exactly.
In fact, the city is bargaining right now that if they can get away with a $250 in punitive damages, and get away with it.
They're trying to downsize the award a little bit.
They're not going anywhere. It's not happening.
Right.
The New Jersey state, I'm sure other parts of the country also and around the world, paid a tribute to late. I hate to use the word late because he was personally a friend. Dev Anand, big superstar in movie industries from I think 1947 or 48. He came to Bombay, and you're talking about 65 years of journey. He was 88 years old, and he made brilliant movies. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his movies. He was the heartthrob of, if I may call, Indian women.
Right.
And even though youngsters loved him, men also liked him because he was very modern. He was not like a traditional Indian movie star.
Had a Hollywood era to him.
Absolutely. And he was the first guy to take a movie to Oscars. And the movie became such a super success. Guide was, even today, it's still used as a reference document. 60 years of journey, 64, 65 years of journey. He was 88 when he passed away. But this
man, he made over 100 movies, right?
This man was beyond comprehension. He was a revolution. He was so far ahead of his time. Style, presentation was all his own. And unbelievable what he did.
Yeah, it's a huge loss to the Bollywood community and
globally.
Just all the fans as well.
Right. So, I mean, I feel sad, but I think he had a full life. He enjoyed it. He did anything he wanted. He gave great talent to the Bollywood industry. He gave 3 or 4 top stars. The Tina Muneem, I think he brought Jackie Shroff, he brought Richa Sharma, and few other actresses, Zinat Aman, of
Created
course.
several stars,
He was a visionary, he was a dreamer. So New Jersey at Royal Albert Palace organized a function for him and paid a tribute to him.
And they had a musical program as well,
Well,
featuring his songs.
True.
Yeah. And that's it for this week's episode of Eye on South Asia. Keep watching us week after week, same time, same place. You can also catch us on YouTube, catch up on all your favorite episodes. I'm Bhavna Vannan. Have a great weekend.
And I'm Sunil Hali. Wish you a great weekend ahead and see you next week.